Earth, 2025. The sky split open at noon. Over New York City, a shape emerged, impossibly vast, blocking out the sun like a monolithic eclipse. It hovered in silence, the skyline dwarfed beneath its glinting, silver hull. People screamed, phones flew up, TikTok live streams exploded with hashtags, #SkyDoom, #AlienVibesOnly, and the tragically misspelled #Welcome to Earth. In a Starbucks on Fifth Avenue, a woman named Tina Morales didn't look up. She stirred her Americano with a mechanical sigh, earbuds in, scrolling through news feeds as panic erupted around her. Aliens. Again. Just like the Pentagon leaks in 2023, or the Mars microwave incident in 2024. Maybe this time it was real. "Ma'am," came a panicked barista's voice, there's a spaceship. Like, Independence Day level. Tina glanced up. Her sunglasses reflected the mothership's slow, unsettling rotation. "I see it." She took a sip. "Doesn't change the fact you overcharged me for oat milk." Halfway across the city, in a UN security briefing room turned chaos carnival, diplomats from 38 nations screamed into headsets, translators panicked, and someone was using a laser pointer to circle the words imminent death on a projection. Standing in the middle of it all was Special Liaison Arnie Berkowitz, retired Navy, now reactivated because, as the memo said, you're the least likely to punch a diplomat. Arnie scratched his stubble, chewing on the end of a pen as he squinted at the mothership's live feed. It looked eerily familiar, but he couldn't place it. Then it hit him. "This is the same damn design from the Sahara incident," he muttered. A nearby analyst blinked. "Sahara what?" 1932, archaeological dig. Covered up. Bunch of guys in fedoras disappeared. One came back claiming he'd met gods who hated jazz. They took off, said they'd return. After how long? 30,000 years. The analyst stared. Arnie nodded grimly. Guess they set a timer. The alien ship released a pulse of sound, like whale song filtered through a bass drop. The clouds trembled. Lightning crackled in midair, arcing between invisible points. Then a shaft of blue light struck down into Times Square, forming a glowing ring that began to widen and pulse. Tina Morales, now walking toward the ring out of sheer exasperated curiosity, raised an eyebrow. She was 35, ex-ambassador to Mars, the fake one in Nevada, long story, currently demoted to cultural sensitivity consultant for the UN. She hated the title. No one wanted sensitivity. They wanted sarcasm and results. From the ring, a tall, crystalline figure emerged, humanoid, vaguely amphibian, with glowing mandibles and a cape that shimmered like oil on water. Two more followed, smaller, cloaked in shimmering armor. The lead figure took a moment to breathe the air, or judge it, and raised a device the size of a car battery. A static hum filled the air, followed by the ancient alien greeting, a deep, rhythmic growl that echoed in Tina's bones. Then the translator engaged. "Salutations, primitive flesh things. We, the Ilari, return to claim stewardship over our long-abandoned experiment." Silence. A single pigeon flew past, unimpressed. The translator glitched. The next sentence came out. "Yo, what up, Earth Bros? We back, baby. Miss us?" Tina pinched the bridge of her nose. "Perfect." Commander Zorthan of the Ilari blinked his three eyes. He looked at his translator device, then back at the humans gathering in a cautious circle. One of them threw a can of Monster Energy at his foot. Another shouted, "Do flip." Zorthan turned to his subordinates and made a low clicking sound. "They are not worshipping us," he said. "Why are they not worshipping us?" One of the underlings offered meekly, "Perhaps the primitive hierarchy has evolved beyond centralized reverence." Another chimed in, "Or perhaps this is Florida." The glowing portal behind them shimmered again. A floating monolith descended, humming with power. Words etched themselves into its surface in a mix of ancient script and Comic Sans. It read, "Humanity, final evaluation commencing." Tina stepped forward, sipping her coffee. "You want to evaluate us, you start with this." She held up her smartphone and opened Twitter. "We run our society through collective sarcasm and dopamine addiction. Good luck decoding that." Zorthan tilted his head. "Is Twitter your governing AI?" She smirked. "In a sense." At that moment, Arnie's voice crackled into her earpiece. "Morales, don't antagonize them yet. We're prepping contingency diplomacy." "Define diplomacy," Tina whispered. 3 interns, a box of Pop-Tarts, and a VHS of Predator. She snorted. "So war." The alien commander extended a palm. "We come bearing gifts." The shimmering underlings brought forward a cube, pulsing with light. When opened, it displayed holograms, glorious visions of what Earth might have been. Floating cities, green oceans, peaceful humanoid evolution. The ideal vision the Ilari seeded long ago. The cube's final image, a pack of early humans beating an alien scout with sticks. Tina leaned in. "Ah, the classic misunderstanding. You thought we'd evolve like a utopia. Instead, we became us." Zorthan's mandibles clicked in confusion. "You were supposed to become enlightened. We got microwaves that turn burritos into lava. Does that count?" The alien stepped forward, taller now, his crystalline chest plate flashing. "You speak boldly for second-tier emissary." "I'm from Brooklyn." One of the aliens attempted to scan her with a wrist device. It shorted out and played the opening chords of Smells like Teen Spirit. The aliens recoiled. Zorthan hissed, "What is this noise?" "Nirvana," she replied. "It started as music, ended as a religion." Suddenly, from the east, a squadron of human helicopters approached. Arnie was in one of them, bellowing at the pilot over the rotors. "We are not blowing them up unless they fire first." "Sir," the pilot shouted, "they just asked for control of global infrastructure. They can't even control this conversation." The alien commander raised a staff. Lightning pulsed. The monolith began to vibrate, generating a low hum that caused birds to fall out of the sky in confusion. Then, from a nearby crowd, a man in a banana costume walked up holding a sign, "Welcome Space Daddies." Zorthan paused. "What is this creature?" Tina grinned. "That's Barry. He thinks this is Burning Man." Barry began twerking. Zorthan took a full step back. "Are they trying to communicate via muscle spasms?" "Technically," Tina replied, "that's a mating ritual." The commander took a deep breath, something between a hiss and a groan. "Return to the vessel. We must reevaluate." The aliens stepped back into the ring of light. The monolith retracted. The mothership hovered in place, ominous but not aggressive. Tina stared at the sky. "So round one's over." Arnie's voice again. "No shots fired. I call that a diplomatic win." She raised an eyebrow. "How long until they realize we're not just uncivilized but proud of it?" "Hopefully after lunch," she said. "We've got about 90 minutes until someone challenges them to a hot dog eating contest." Above them, the ship pulsed once more. A deep alien sigh echoed across the clouds. And the world waited. Commander Zorthan stood before the central thought matrix, the shimmering neural lattice that hummed quietly at the heart of the Ilari mothership. Its interface pulsed with ancient data, memory echoes of their last visit to Earth, desolate landscapes, primitive creatures scratching symbols into rock, terrified hominids bowing before scout drones. Then the feed shifted to the present. A raccoon in a ninja outfit was riding a stolen scooter through a Walmart parking lot. Zorthan closed his eyes and inhaled deeply through his secondary gill slits. This cannot be the same species. Kellen A.R., his jittery science officer, didn't look up from his monitor. He had long since given up trying to filter human behavior into the Ilari's classification system. They've evolved sideways, Commander. Functionally, they're smarter. Culturally, it's a swamp of memes, snack food, and interpretive aggression. Zorthan opened his eyes and studied the projection again. A group of children was trying to summon Slender Man using TikTok and peanut butter. "They had such promise," he said mostly to himself. 30 millennia ago, we chose this planet as our long-term observation node. The seed of intelligence was there. Curiosity. Adaptability. Then we left to let the experiment mature." "Right," Kellen A.R. said. "And it matured into this." He spun the screen to face his commander. A man in Texas was attempting to build a particle collider in his barn using scrap metal and parts from an old jukebox. The collider was surprisingly functional. Zorthan turned away. "We must learn how they got here." "You mean Earth?" "I mean this condition." Zorthan swept his hand across the interface. "They are ungoverned yet global. Divided yet communicating at all hours. They possess weapons of extinction, but primarily use their technology for dancing videos and arguing with strangers." Kellen A.R. tilted his head. "So, embedded observation?" "Yes. We walk among them. Carefully. We study them, adapt to their customs, learn their motivations. There must be a reason they have not destroyed themselves. And what if the reason is that they tried and failed?" Zorthan paused. "Then we begin Phase 3. They descended quietly, their dropship masked by the clouds. The chosen landing point was inconspicuous, the outskirts of Cleveland, Ohio. Unremarkable, unassuming, perfectly human. Tina Morales was already there, sipping gas station coffee and leaning against a government-issue black SUV that looked like it had been borrowed from a mid-budget action film. The UN had tasked her with coordinating first contact protocol follow-up, but no one had really expected the aliens to return so soon or to request cultural immersion. She watched as the Ilari delegation approached the Waffle Shack across the parking lot, cloaked in ill-fitting hoodies and baseball caps that didn't quite hide their height or bioluminescent skin. One of them had chosen a bucket hat with YOLO stitched across the front. Tina sighed, blending in 2 out of 10. Zorthan nodded at her, dignified despite wearing Crocs over his armored feet. "We appreciate your presence, Emissary Morales." "You asked for a cultural guide," she said, motioning toward the restaurant. "Breakfast's on me. We'll start with pancakes and slowly build up to the chaos." The Waffle Shack was half full. A mix of truckers, tire mothers, and 2 teenagers live streaming their entire experience under the caption #AliensGetWaffles. No one gave the Ilari more than a glance. Kelnar examined the syrup dispenser like it held the secrets of the universe. "It's viscous, sweet, non-toxic, delicious. Why is this not a universal currency?" "Give it time," Tina replied. "Maple futures are volatile." Zorthan tapped a fork experimentally against the table. "This place. It feels like a shrine to sustenance, but also community. Noise. Laughter. Why? Because humans eat in groups," she said. "We're social. This is where plans are made, friendships are built, revolutions are born. Or breakfast is just really good." Zorthan studied her. "You speak of simplicity as though it's sacred." "No," she said. "I speak of simplicity because it's true. You expected evolution to follow clarity, logic, linear development. But humans don't climb stairs, we bounce off walls and crash through ceilings." Kelnar interrupted, mouth full of hash browns. "Your species has taken trial and error to mythological levels. You elect entertainers as leaders, wage war over colors, and build billion-dollar machines to chase invisible particles, then use the same tech to microwave pizza rolls. We chase meaning," Tina said, "even if we're not sure what it is yet." Zorthan leaned back, fingers steepled. "We had hoped to guide your evolution. Leave subtle tools. Push gently toward enlightenment. And we use those tools to make beer helmets and leaf blowers with flamethrowers." "Exactly." They sat in silence for a moment. Then Tina said, "You know what I think? I'm terrified to ask. I think your ancestors left not because we weren't ready, but because they were. They saw what we were becoming and couldn't handle it." Zorthan's expression didn't change, but something shifted behind his eyes. "That would suggest fear. We are not programmed for fear." "You were never programmed," she said. "You were arrogant. You tried to sculpt intelligence without respecting the mess it needs to grow." Kelnar dropped his fork. "Commander," he said quietly, "you should see this." The table's embedded translator interface blinked. A hidden signal, buried in a common civilian data stream, was pulsing across Earth's networks. It was crude, chaotic, human. But layered beneath it was an Ilari base code, ancient and nearly lost. An echo of the first seeding program. Zorthan frowned. "Where is this coming from?" "Subterranean," Kelnar whispered. "Somewhere deep beneath the Rockies. It's been dormant since the first expedition. And now it's awake." Tina looked between them. "What are you talking about?" Zorthan didn't answer. He stood slowly, as if weighed down by a truth he hadn't considered in eons. "Perhaps we never left this planet entirely." Kelnar's voice trembled. "Commander, if there's still Ilari code in circulation, it means humanity didn't evolve past us. They grew with us. Mutated. Intertwined. Which means," Zorthan said, "whatever they are now, we helped make them." The realization hung in the air like a thundercloud. Suddenly, the pancake syrup didn't seem so harmless. Tina stood too. "So what now? Do you erase it? Start over? Pretend none of this happened?" Zorthan's silence was answer enough, but Kelnar shook his head. "You can't erase this. Humanity is beyond deletion. They've built a world out of contradictions and duct tape. And it works." Tina stared at the aliens, her voice low. "You wanted an experiment. You got evolution on hard mode." Zorthan looked at her then, not as a subject or anomaly, but as something harder to define. Something dangerously close to an equal. "We will need to consult the council," he said at last. "This changes everything." Tina watched as they filed out, stepping back into the Ohio morning like awkward tourists. She could feel in the air something had shifted, not just in their minds, but in hers too. Because deep down, beneath all the noise, she knew something was calling. Something ancient. Something not quite alien, not quite human. And it had just woken up. The descent into the Rockies was less majestic and more like falling through a forgotten level of a 90s video game. Layers of concrete, rusted metal, and obsolete defense systems built during the Cold War, and then abandoned like last year's internet challenge. Tina ducked beneath a web of broken cables as the service elevator rattled to a halt hundreds of meters below the surface. Zorthan stepped out first, his cloak shimmering faintly in the artificial light. His expression was unreadable, but Tina had come to learn that was his version of an existential meltdown. Kelenaar followed, eyes wide with scientific hunger, already scanning walls, floor, and air molecules for trace Ilari signatures. The base, buried in the mountain like a forgotten secret, thrummed with faint, lingering energy. "No one built this," Kelenaar whispered. "At least not entirely. It's grown." The walls pulsed subtly, almost like breathing. As they advanced, ancient Ilari script flickered along the surfaces, partly digital, partly biological. Tina ran her fingers along one of the glowing glyphs, surprised it felt warm, like skin. "You seeded this place 30,000 years ago?" she asked. Zorthan nodded. "It was meant to be a failsafe. A central node in case humanity diverged too far from the projected path." "Define diverged." "Using nuclear technology to bake frozen burritos," Kelenaar muttered, still scanning. Tina grinned. "You're welcome." They reached a sealed chamber at the heart of the base. The door was not locked, just dormant, like it had been waiting for the right knock. As Zorthan approached, the symbols flared bright and began to rotate inward like a galaxy collapsing on itself. The door sighed open. Inside, a sphere floated midair, suspended above a dais of what looked like crystalline bone. It pulsed with a familiar rhythm, like a heartbeat. Zorthan stiffened. "It's the core archive. Our species' backup intelligence. This is what was left behind to monitor the experiment." Tina stepped closer, the air thick with static. "It's alive." "Not alive. Aware." Kelenaar's tablet buzzed frantically. "It's broadcasting. Not just locally, planet-wide. Frequencies buried in radio chatter, internet traffic, even power grids." "You mean it's talking to everything?" Tina asked. Zorthan tilted his head. "It's learning. Again." Suddenly, the sphere's surface shifted, showing flickering images. Early cave paintings, pyramids under construction, the Roman Senate in session, Woodstock, Apollo 11, the Berlin Wall falling, a Super Bowl halftime show, a cat playing piano, a kid yelling, "Charlie bit me." The images blurred, faster and faster. Then a voice echoed, not from speakers, but from inside their minds. "Humanity has deviated, yet survived. Define success." Tina blinked. "You tell me. You were the ones playing God." "Parameters exceeded. Unforeseen variables. Potential for recursive chaos. Still cohesion." Zorthan stepped forward. "You were meant to observe, not interfere." Interference was necessary. Subject environment too unpredictable. Humanity triggered self-adaptive evolution. Kelenaar's eyes widened. "You're saying they didn't just evolve around us. They evolved with the archive's influence." The sphere pulsed again, slower this time. Thoughtful. Ilari seed code merged with early neural structures. Unexpected fusion. Culture became code. Code became instinct. Now irreversible. Tina crossed her arms. "So what are you saying? That humans are part alien?" The sphere shimmered, then displayed a DNA strand twisted around glowing filaments. "Humanity is hybrid. Unstable. Brilliant. Dangerous." Zorthan stared at it. "We tampered. And now the galaxy may pay for our mistake." Tina didn't flinch. "Mistake? You think we're a mistake? We're not the ones who made an AI, abandoned it in a mountain, and forgot to check its notifications for 30,000 years." Kelenaar whispered almost reverently. "It didn't just watch us. It felt us. All our stories, our struggles. It grew with us." The sphere projected an image, Earth as seen from space. Then a ripple, expanding outward, signal trails reaching across the solar system. Observation no longer sufficient. External attention detected. Other minds approaching. curious, hungry. Zorthan's breath caught. They've heard us. Tina turned sharply. Who? Kellanar's hands trembled. Other civilizations. Predatory ones. Ones that wipe clean what they don't understand. The Ilari stopped expanding because of them. We weren't fast enough to hide. The sphere flickered again, revealing unknown vessels, alien, angular, immense, drifting through the dark like sharks under ice. They come, drawn by signal. Conflict probability, 89.4%. Tina exhaled slowly. So, we're the galaxy's ringtone. And we just pocket-dialed death. Zorthan shook his head. We should never have left Earth unattended. No, Tina said. You should have trusted us. A low hum rose through the chamber. The archive began interfacing, tendrils of light connecting with Kellanar's device, with Zorthan's armor, with Tina's watch, her neural implants, the Wi-Fi chip in her boot. Code danced between them, ancient and new. Protocol requires decision. Zorthan squared his shoulders. Shut it down. Wipe the archive. Bury the signal before it spreads further. But Tina stepped forward. No, we don't run. Not anymore. Kellenar looked at her. They'll outgun you. Outthink you. She smiled. That's assuming we fight fair. Zorthan's jaw tightened. You would fight them. With you, she said. Or without you. You're afraid of what we've become. But we're ready. Maybe not by your standards. But by ours? We've already survived ourselves. That's no small thing. The sphere shimmered again. This time it played music. Queen's Don't Stop Me Now, then cut into a dramatic monologue from Independence Day, then a badly auto-tuned remix of both. Decision accepted. Archive releasing hybrid defense protocol. Integrating with human networks. Preparing countermeasures. Kellenar blinked. You're letting humanity take the lead. Already have. They built memes as weapons. Humor as armor. Madness as strategy. Now we scale. Tina's watch buzzed. A crude interface appeared, offering her tactical control over orbital surveillance arrays, satellite coordination, and a button labeled Meme Deployment Initiative. She raised an eyebrow. You're kidding. Kellenar shook his head. They're not. You're now in charge of Earth's first hybrid defense system. Zorthan watched her for a long moment. Perhaps we were wrong. Tina shrugged. Wouldn't be the first time aliens underestimated Earth. Or Cleveland. The chamber pulsed again, brighter, louder, full of converging frequencies and rising urgency. Outside, the Ilari ship activated its shields. Earth's satellites realigned like chess pieces. Somewhere, an AI disguised as a toaster began recruiting Reddit moderators for tactical command. As the lights dimmed and systems synchronized, Tina whispered under her breath, "Let them come." And somewhere beyond Neptune, something did. The darkness beyond Neptune fractured as the first of the alien ships pierced the veil of the solar system. Immense, obsidian leviathans, silent as tombstones, drifted inward. Not with haste, but with certainty. They had heard Earth's call, a cacophony of ancient Ilari code, human absurdity, and something else neither species had ever intended, defiance. Tina stood aboard the Arkansas Rising, a retrofitted Ilari cruiser fused with Earth tech, chewing the end of a lollipop stick while watching 5 screens flash incomprehensible starfield data. Her battle suit, an unholy marriage of Ilari nanofiber and repurposed sportswear, clung to her like a second skin. On her shoulder, a patch read, "Team Humanity, we've done dumber." Kellenar paced behind her, tapping frantically into his wrist console, muttering, "They shouldn't be able to disable quantum fields that fast. This is impossible. It's like they're cheating." Tina interrupted, grinning. "Welcome to the big leagues, sport. Time to pull off a play so dumb it works." Zorthan entered the bridge, the strain of command etched into his posture. He no longer wore his ceremonial cloak. It had been turned into a rally banner somewhere over Kansas. He looked at Tina. "They've breached Mars orbit. Civilian panic is spreading virally." "Great. Good. Let them panic," Tina replied, eyes never leaving the main screen. "Then let them get mad. Nothing unites humanity like an existential threat and a good meme." The archive, now fully awakened and fused with global human networks, interfaced through every device on Earth. It had stopped speaking in riddles and started issuing updates like a snarky social media manager. Target projection, 14 ships. Primary vessels estimated at 3 miles in length. Secondary swarm count, 4,572. Defense success probability, 18.9%. Hope you pack snacks. Zorthan winced. Why is it always so casual? Tina cracked her neck. Because it's one of us now. Humor's how we cope. It's learning fast. In orbit, satellites synchronized, forming an electromagnetic net around Earth's upper atmosphere. Ground-based defense stations came online, some built just weeks ago using specs downloaded directly from the archive. Others were converted from decommissioned fast food distribution centers. The Golden Arches were now capable of firing kinetic rods at Mach 9. Kel and AR stared at the live feed. They're not attacking yet. Why aren't they attacking? Zorthan frowned. They're observing, measuring resistance, deciding if we're worth the effort. Tina stepped forward. Then let's make the decision for them. She opened a channel. Not encrypted, not tactical, just loud. The signal rode every frequency, radio, infrared, subspace. Earth's reply to the incoming menace began with the Star Wars Imperial March, transitioned into AC/DC's Thunderstruck, then cut abruptly to a slowed-down speech of Shia LaBeouf yelling, "Just do it." Then Tina's voice, confident and raw, "This is Earth. We've seen it all. Ice ages, plagues, boy bands. You think we're scared of you because you're big and ugly? We have Florida. We invented crazy. You want a war? You better bring snacks." The alien ships paused. Not from confusion. There was no confusion in them. But something shifted. They had received challenges before. None like this. The archive pinged again. Enemy formation altered. Advancing. Engagement imminent. Updating battle strategy. Operation Dumb Bravery active. Zorthan took a breath. "Tina, if this fails." "It won't," she said. "Because this isn't just us anymore. It's all of us. We've got Navajo coders in Arizona syncing orbital lasers with Peruvian skywatchers. Russian hackers coordinating with South Korean gamers. Kids in Senegal rewriting targeting protocols using math they invented last night. We don't need to outgun them. We just need to outweird them." Kel and AR muttered, "Which you are very good at." Flashes of light pierced the void as the alien fleet unleashed a swarm of drones, thousands of angular, metallic wasps moving with hive precision. Earth's response wasn't silence. It was music. Thousands of towers across the globe activated pulse emitters, converting high-decibel sound into frequency-disruptive shockwaves. AC/DC, Metallica, Eminem, Whitney Houston, and a remix of a screaming go blended into a wall of sound. The drones faltered, confused. Some even began mimicking the rhythm. That's when Phase 2 hit. From hidden bunkers, Earth's defense systems fired, not with conventional weapons, but with chaos. Drones launched swarm countermeasures loaded with unpredictable algorithms, fake signals, projected illusions. One alien ship momentarily halted, confused by what appeared to be a giant floating Keanu Reeves offering it a red or blue pill. Zorthan watched, stunned. "This is warfare." "This," Tina said, "is improvisation." Above, Earth's defense satellites launched rods from orbit, kinetic projectiles the size of telephone poles, guided by algorithms written by high schoolers on a Reddit thread. They struck the lead ship, cracking through shields that had never encountered such primitive force combined with such raw unpredictability. The archive chimed in again. First impact successful. 3 enemy ships disrupted. Enemy counterattack forming. Suggest human tactical meme dispersal. Tina smirked. Already on it. Thousands of digital displays across the alien ships began glitching. Not through hacking, but through transmission. Earth had weaponized its culture. Aliens were flooded with streams of incomprehensible human data. Videos of cats knocking things over, people running into glass doors, sports bloopers, anime intros, dance challenges, all wrapped in indecipherable captions. The enemy AI faltered. Kel and AR's voice was awed. They don't understand irony. They don't know what a Rickroll is. They can't process nonsense. Tina whispered, "And that's why we win." The archive launched the final protocol, broadcasting Earth's full emotional archive across the invaders' cognitive channels. Anger, love, fear, joy, nostalgia. The moment a father sees his child walk. The first kiss. The agony of loss. The absurdity of Monty Python. The raw, chaotic, irrational storm that was being human. The alien ship slowed. The swarm scattered. Zorthan looked around. "They're retreating." "No," Kelenar said. "They're overwhelmed." One ship, the largest, turned sharply and fled into the dark. Others followed. A few remained adrift, their systems corrupted with feelings they had no architecture to contain. Silence returned to the bridge. Then the archive spoke one last time. Probability of future invasion, low. Probability of cosmic reputation alteration, high. Earth is now considered Class X, psychologically hazardous. Tina collapsed into a chair, laughing breathlessly. We did it. We actually did it. Zorthan sat beside her, his voice quiet. You didn't just win. You changed everything. Kelenar added, they'll tell stories about this. Cautionary tales. Don't poke the humans. Tina looked out the viewport, toward the stars. Good. Let the galaxy know. We're not perfect. We're messy. But we're impossible to predict and harder to break. We're the final glitch in the perfect system. And somewhere out there, in the cold silence between suns, the universe shuddered. Not in fear. In awe. Earth had spoken. And the stars would never forget it.